Hello, everyone, and welcome to Bay Area Focus. I'm your host, Michelle Griego. Lots and lots going on this morning. We have food, restaurants, film, and we start with oysters. Melissa Perfit is the executive chef at Ayala. It's a new seafood restaurant in San Francisco, and she is going to school us in the art of shucking, dressing, and eating them, of course. Welcome to Bay Area Focus.
Thank you. So happy to be here.
You have a beautiful spread right here. So oysters, I mean, that's a big deal here in San Francisco.
It is, yeah. And I've worked at a lot of places with oysters, so they seem to never go away from me, but
Well, tell me
I do like them, so.
Before we get on the oysters, tell me about Ayala first. I mean, it's just opened up in Union Square.
Yeah, so I've actually been on the project since last May, I believe. It's been really exciting for me because I haven't really opened something of this caliber. And I think that in that area of Union Square, there's a lot of need for maybe just like a newer restaurant with seafood. You know, Fairlawn's great, but I think, you know, there was that need for something a little more fresh and cool new cocktails and just a different take on seafood.
Yeah, and this really focuses on California's coast.
Yes, yes. Oh, we are getting something. We kind of stretched it to the West Coast a little bit from Washington as well, just because it's so precious what we have just on the California coast that we just kind of branched out a little bit as well.
So what makes seafood so unique on the California coast?
That's a good question. I feel like anyone who's been to Tamales Bay or you know, up to maybe Hog Island up there, you really get that feeling of you know, just everyone being like local and helping each other and just having this feeling of like a good community.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, let's talk oysters because you really do have a beautiful presentation here. Oysters any time of the year?
Yeah, you know, and sometimes, you know, you think of them during summer, right? Because it's hot outside and you want to go eat oysters. But in the colder months, sometimes the oysters are even better because the cold water really is good for the oysters' growth. It makes them a little more like briny and clean than in the summer. So yeah, I say oysters any time of the year, but you know, up to whoever is eating them, I guess.
Okay, so what is the best way, and I know you have your favorite way to dress oysters?
Yeah, so for me, I'm a big fan of mignonette, which is basically like a vinegar sauce, for lack of a better word, with shallots and black pepper. That's the classic. So what I have today is just like kind of a twist on that, where we made a smoked vinegar, added a little olive oil, so it's more like a vinaigrette on the oyster, a little cucumber, radish, and chervil.
So similar, very small.
Yes.
That's great. And then what does that do to bring out the taste of the oyster? Or I know citrus is really important.
Right, exactly. And I think if you use like a citrus or a vinegar forward sauce, it kind of brings out like the brightness of the oyster, the brininess. You know, a lot of times I know people want to put cocktail sauce on there, but I just feel like cocktail sauce just, you know, hides all the flavor, and that's kind of why people do it.
Okay, so you're saying no. You're saying
no cocktail sauce. Don't do it
on the oysters. Is there a proper way of shucking these? I mean, obviously you don't want to hurt yourself.
Yes.
You could.
Yes. Cover your hands. Believe me, I've done it before, and I think I fainted right after. Yeah. So there's a proper way to shuck the oyster. Some people can shuck out of their hands better. I'm not the best at that, but. You want to go in through the opening on the front and then work your way around. They have like two kind of hooks around. Mm-hmm. And then you don't ever want to like get in the oyster and flip it. That's when you know you actually probably ruined the oyster. You just want to unhook it and then make sure there's no shell in there.
How does flipping it ruin it?
I guess it's one of those things that like as a cook, you just learn, like if you see an oyster that's flipped, that you know somebody stabbed the belly of the oyster.
Oh, and you
that means they slipped and stabbed the belly. Yeah, so that they essentially killed it before you had a chance to eat it alive.
Got it. Okay, so can we watch you do this process?
Let's do one.
I mean, I was watching a little bit before the show started, and you're fast. You're pretty fast.
I don't know. I couldn't keep up at Bar Crudo sometimes, so. So basically, and it's funny as well, I have to say, the guys at Swan's go in through here, which mystifies me. So I guess there's always different ways to do it.
Sure.
I think the most important is that you unhook it so people can, slide the oyster right in, and then, try to get as little shell in there as possible and not stab the belly. So this is I'm working my way around now on the side and unhook it there. And then you want to make sure that the belly is here, right? It's that it comes down from the top. That's where people will end up kind of like just ripping it out of there.
When I was watching earlier, you said, "Oh, that's a good one." What makes a good one when you open it up?
Yeah, which one was that? No, a lot of these are really nice. These are Miyagi's from Tamales Bay.
Okay.
So I have a feeling they probably came out of the water yesterday. A good one is like you see here how it has like a lot of liquor in there that from like just wherever they were grown. And then they're just, I think the other ones, some of them were dried out, right? So this one looks really good too because it's like nice and moist. There's a lot of liquor in there, which you want to keep in there. Some people will dump that out, and that's like why you're ruining half the oyster anyway. So
does it matter if they're big, small?
No. You know, we get a lot of like, if we have Kumamotos or something, they're really small, so people are like, oh, I didn't get what, like what I paid for. But sometimes the little Kumamotos just pack more punch than a bigger oyster would.
Well, okay, so we just want to see you dress it.
Oh, yeah.
And while we're doing that, we'll talk about your experience. I mean, you have so much experience as a chef. You were on, Top Chef, which was amazing. And then also, a lot of it is about community work too. Mm-hmm. And the restaurant focuses on that as well. Yeah,
I'm always happy to do. We just did Taste of the Nation, which was for No Kid Hungry, which was awesome. Meals on Wheels is coming up as well. So that'll be exciting. It's just nice to do these, big charity events, especially in San Francisco. Because there's so many of them, and I think it's just really important. It's a good way to meet, other people in the restaurant community. Just talk to them about what they're doing, and all for a good cause, which is great.
Okay, for somebody like me who doesn't regularly eat oysters.
We're going to get you to eat them, I swear.
You're going to get me to eat them. I already know it. I know. Well, you definitely make them look very tasty, so it all looks really good. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a good time. Thank you.
It was great. Come back anytime. And be sure to check out Ayala. It is on Geary Street in San Francisco's Union Square. The website is ayalarestaurant.com. Coming up, sake with a sake master when Bay Area Focus returns in just a moment.